morning. All right, welcome to this Saturday morning. I think we've got a day ahead, and then we've got weather coming, and that's exciting, isn't it? I think it's exciting. So listen, we're going to, how should I put this? We're going to workshop a particular posture, and this is what would be useful for you to have while we're getting ready. A strap, and I've got my strap set at about this big, this little circle that will help down the road. Yours could be bigger or smaller, just depending on you. And then I recommend having a bolster or a pillow. That way we can explore with less tension, okay? So something that we can prop ourselves up on, and I think that's going to do it. We're going to look a little bit at, well, this is the recommendation. I've been teaching all week about equanimity, and as one of the 4 essential ingredients in inhabiting this human vessel. The equanimity meaning, all things being equal. And it's a really interesting inquiry what we call precious and who we call precious, and then what and who we reject. And the idea and the practice is that we work on anywhere where we're very fixated and attached, appreciating the love that's there, but also creating some space. And then anywhere where we've got aversion, maybe moving a little bit closer. And anywhere where we really don't care one way or another, just noticing that and then creating a relationship so that everything around us and within us we see with a lot of practice, with a sense of equality. Imagine that. Imagine that. So the posture that we're going to investigate is, I'm not going to tell you. Let's just go into it. It's related to this a little bit. So what I suggest is nothing will hurt. That's for sure. So if you find aversion or the desire to repel, move away from, notice it first, and then soften. So I think ultimately what we're working on today is softening any grip that we find, either toward or against. All right? Shall we begin? So why don't we begin lying on our back, please? Oh, always nice to lie on the back. As if we were coming into Savasana. Let the arms drape beside you and allow the body to get heavy. Feel the back of the shoulders begin to descend without pushing. Then take your coccyx, the tip of your tailbone, move it slightly toward your pubic bone so there's a little bit of a curling action. Draw your right knee in close and draw the thigh as close to the rib cage as you can. You could widen the toes. Let's just do this all with our legs as opposed to getting involved with the arms. Now we might notice then, can we externally rotate the right thigh bone any amount so the shin comes, well, toward the chest? Probably not very much, but that's fine. And then back to the middle, and then once again. So we'll go just check to see as we move it back and forth, what does it do on its own? How much of the rest of the body gets involved in this? And And then release the right leg slowly to the floor. And left leg comes in. Thigh draws to rib cage. You can reach out through the right heel. Open up the toes because you have that chance. And then begin to turn like a wing, just a little bit like a wing, and then back. And we'll do that 3 more times with the breath, just exploring where it goes. Releasing any attachment to getting anywhere. Okay, good. And then let's release left leg. Pause here. And then take right knee in, and let's go ahead, grasp the outside of the right foot, but keep it light as the right thigh descends. Extend through left heel. Go any amount. Remember, it's Saturday morning. You can feel almost a scooping action right where the femur bone comes in toward the pelvis. And release. Go slow. Yeah? Okay, then come the other side. Notice what you can soften. And then engage. So draw the 2 sit bones together slightly and see if that helps to open the hip just a little bit. Wonderful. Okay, let's release and go ahead, send the leg long. And then bring both knees in. Give ourselves a hug. And a couple rolls just to, well, it's just nice to do, isn't it? Unless it's not, in which case don't. But we'll come up to a seat. And let's take care of the arms here. So we'll go ahead, see if this will work with your strap in a circle, and take your arms in so that your palms face each other. And then up we go. And we'll extend. Feel the sit bones root and extend up and out. The thumbs turn away from one another a little bit. And then draw the low ribs in. We could spend 5 minutes here, but we're not going to spend 5 minutes here. But let's get that sense of tubular at this point. So navel draws into spine and the pelvic floor lifts. The breath might move up into top chest. See if that's possible. Good. Reach up out of the fingertips. And then keeping the sit bones rooted, begin to extend to the right any amount. Exploring this space, yeah? And then sit bones, they stay equanimous. That's a great way of looking at it. Nothing changes there as we make our way over to the other side. See if that's possible and nothing changes. And then, now we need to give it a couple more breaths on this side. Up we come. Now we'll turn and twist over to the left any amount. Did you feel how your right sit bone moved forward a little bit? That's totally fine because it's easier on the SI joints rather than locking them in place. Just play with that twist right at the upper thoracic. And then come back. And other side. Growing, 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 and rooting simultaneously. Okay, come back to center. And then just a little bit of extending up. Lift the sternum. Lift the sternum. Reaching out. I bet you might feel some tingling in your hands at this point. Reach up, 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 up. And then release the arms. Okay, so let's put the strap aside and prepare ourselves for a few sun salutations. Coming to the top of the mat. Rooting the feet. Feel equal between front and back and side to side. You see how this equal thing we talk about in asana all the time translates to everywhere. So join me in the Gayatri mantra if you wish. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonat Prachodayat. Om. Good. Releasing the arms beside us. Inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, like we're swimming, fold forward. Take your time. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, palms down. Step back to plank pose. And push through your heels. And wake up the whole body, beginning at the feet, moving up the legs. There's a gentle hug happening everywhere. And draw the lower ribs in. And fill up the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale. Exhale, knees down. Good. And then lower all the way down. Come light onto your fingertips, please, and root your feet so your toes point back. Inhale, lift the chest. 5 breaths here. So we want to move the breath high up into the top lungs. And with each breath moving up, we root the legs even more. And then slowly down we come. And let's take the hips over the heels. Keep your toes tucked under. Send your arms forward. Would you bring your palms together and draw the thumb tips toward the nape of the neck? The forehead is down. And then scoot your body back slightly so that this becomes about lengthening triceps. And moving the breath into the rib cage just beneath the armpits. Like you're widening your wings from the inside out. Then set the hands back down. Toes are tucked under. Come to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Setting up your dog's strong legs. Pelvis lifts. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward between your hands. Inhale, we lengthen. And exhale, fold. You remember this business about swimming. As you rise up, take your big arm wings out and up, and then releasing. All right, let's do one more traditional pace. Inhale, exhale, folding. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or float back and lower through, or knees and torso down like we just did. And then inhale, cobra or upward dog. And
exhale back, resisting a little bit, right over the toes, downward facing dog. Watching the breath. It'll be 5 breaths this time as the skin and the shins and the thighs moves toward the bones. Attending to breath so deeply that there's no thought, at least for a little bit. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, letting go. Let the head and neck rest. And then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, releasing. Okay, now let's take the arms up and we'll grasp the elbows and sit down, sinking. I recommend scooping this inside of the sit bones in toward each other a little bit. Reach out and up through the elbows. Draw the lower ribs down and in. And become aware of the terrain from the lower back all the way up through the elbows on the back side. Then inhale, rise up, send the arms up. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, step or float back once again, lowering through the way that you do. Inhale, opening, and exhale back. Now we'll send the right leg up and back behind us, and the hips are square. Draw your left heel downward toward the floor, but when you do that, notice that you've still got an arch. Your inner arch on your left foot is lifted. There's a little space under there. Then thigh to rib cage, kiss the knee, and land your right foot. Slowly we rise up into a high lunge. So sending the arms up, rooting downward, and wake up this whole left side. So we're going to need it. Sinking in. Now will you grasp your elbows, then fold forward over your right thigh. Come right back up, inhale. Exhale, folding forward again. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, fold forward. And then we'll launch the back leg off and come into Warrior 3, holding the elbows. Left leg lifts, push back through the ball of the foot. Then we rise up and we take tree pose. And the foot lands anywhere along the leg. And we try not to use the hands if we can help it. And we might turn this into extension through the right side by pulling on your right elbow and lifting it upward, like reed pose. Then we come back to center. So we're center at tree. Bring your knee forward and draw your thigh in as close as you can toward your rib cage, like we did on our back. Okay, now slowly lower it, but we'll take it way back behind us, just like we came from whence we came, I should say. And then we're going to turn and release the arms for a moment. So we've now got the feet parallel with each other. And we want to get the strap at this point. And this is where this will be really useful. I think we can just take the arms back behind us, right into the strap so the palms face each other. Now look down, be sure your feet are parallel. And we'll know in a minute whether it needs to be tighter or looser. So we'll inhale, take the breath up to top chest, and exhale. As you fold forward, grip the floor with your feet, meaning pull the feet in toward each other. Then extend up and out through the arms, through the fingertips, releasing head and neck. Good. Big reach here. We just empty out. I think a lot of equanimity does have to do with the ability to empty out, to let go. Good. Relaxing. Often the stories that we're telling without even realizing we are. So reach your breath as if you could into your fingertips. Imagine that were the case. Keep your kneecaps lifted. And then turn so your left side ribs exposed to the light. That means that we're turning toward the left leg slightly, and we're letting the right arm get heavy while continuing to reach through the fingertips. And then we come back to midline and take it to the other side. Left arm gets heavy. Reach up and out, particularly the right arm now. Yes. Okay, then we return to midline and bend your knees and slowly come up. Okay, good. Let's release the strap. And we'll take our vinyasa to the other side, hands down, left leg back, lowering through. Inhale. And exhale back. Let's take a few breaths. Feel the structure. And then enjoy the breath moving in and out of this vessel we call you, we call me. See how long we can go without a thought. All right, now send left leg up and back, but keep your right heel heavy to the ground. In fact, you could even try to lift your right toes off the ground. Then thigh in, kiss, and land lightly. Rising, coming up into a lunge. Arms extend. Back leg is so rooted. Push back through the heel. Now you see how the lower ribs, they want to flare out, pull them in. And when you grasp the elbows, grasp the opposite one than you did last time. Then with the lower ribs maintaining that drawing into spine, lower, fold until belly sits on thigh, and push out through the heel. Get as long as you can. Then inhale, come back up. Exhale again. Inhale, back up. Exhale, folding. Bring belly to thigh, back leg comes off. Holding the elbows and extending the elbows forward. They become like hands. Back leg now, reaching up and back. And then gradually transition, rising up, and set your right foot anywhere along the left leg for tree. Obviously, if you need to use your hands, do. Steady your gaze. It's nothing like a white wall to steady the gaze. Find midline. Find midline. And then maybe we begin to extend through the left side. pulling a little bit on the left elbow. And then gradually come back up. And bringing your right knee forward and draw the thigh in as close to your rib cage as you can go. As close as you can come. Play with it. Well, it's nothing like the white wall. And then take the right leg way back behind you. Turn, pivot. Okay, release the arms. This time we'll interlace. Draw palms together. Inhale, lift chest. Exhale, folding forward. Draw blades together. Lift the kneecaps like a stick of licorice between the shoulder blades. It's a weird analogy, but that's what came. Press into your heels. And extend through your arms. Couple more breaths. You could bend the right knee a lot. Feel that great extension through the inner left leg. Good. Kidney channel. We work with kidney and bladder channels a lot in the wintertime. Kidney channel runs up and down inner legs, and then come to the other side. And come down as low as it works for you. Good, then come back through midline, release your hands, take the hands to the floor, take the right leg back, either meet in downward dog or take a vinyasa. Okay, we inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward. Inhale, we lengthen, and exhale, fold. And an inhale, rise all the way up. Take the palms upward, exhale, sit down, chair pose. And once you're in chair, take your weight into the sole of your right foot, lift your left leg off, cross, left ankle over right thigh, sit down. And you could fold forward here. You could fold forward, reach through the fingertips. Some of you may want to bring the fingertips to a floor or the block. Keep the sole of your left foot, the whole left foot flexed. Choose. And then watch the breath. As we like to say, be breathed. So we let go of control, let go of trying to make something happen. All right, so back up from whence we came. We come all the way back up to chair, and then crossing other side, right foot crosses, and we slowly lower. Sitting, we could extend, or we can bring the fingertips to the floor. What I suggest is choose the one that gives you a little bit of edge to play with. Edge to play with may mean you found some contraction and you're moving the breath into that space. It also may mean you feel a certain weakness, and so activate those muscles. And then slowly rise back up and settle the foot, and we come all the way back up into mountain pose. Okay, so from here, let's take the arms upward. Exhale, fold forward. Take your left leg back behind you so the left knee comes to the ground. So we'll be in a low lunge. With this low lunge, we're actually going to turn and pivot slightly to the left. Let the pelvis settle. When you look back at your foot, it's pointed directly back. And just play with letting some grounding happen. The right knee can turn out just a little bit. But let's stay lifted. It's tempting to come to the floor for some of us. Stay lifted through the chest so you're long. This is another one where we could easily spend 5 minutes here. Some of these, in order to really get the opening, we'd need to make this a 3-hour class, which we're not going to do today. Now tuck left toes under and come in low to the other side. Once you land the knee, then turn, sink in, see what you can find. Yeah, we just practice meeting what we find lightly. We're light about it. Watching the breath and watching the opening. It's here for the unfolding story. We let go of our own agenda a little bit. See if you, when you bring your sit bones in toward each other, how that changes it. All right, now tuck toes under, lift up, come low. Now we'll come back into this low lunge, settling. This time the hips are going to stay in the same plane. All right, so from here we'll twist. You could take the left arm around, right hand to sacrum. Good, play with, well, we play a pretend game called Move Spleen Toward Liver. See if we could feel what that would be like. Imagine it. Some of you might bend the back knee. Obviously, if there's pain there, don't do it. Maybe you can hold the foot and gradually move the foot toward the sit bone. Good, then hands down, left toes tuck. Again, stay low. Stay low. Turn. Sink. Rise. Good. Draw rib cage inward. Then palms in prayer position, cross perhaps. Then find liver. Huge liver, move it towards spleen. You could drag the left, sole of the left foot, feels like it drags a little bit. And some of you might bend back knee and see if you can find the foot. Good, remember the business of approaching this lightly wherever you are. Okay, then unwind. And rise, turn, pivot, hands down. Now take right leg up and back and stack your hips and bend your knee. When you do that, you can see that your left knee is still pointed forward. You might look at your foot. Some of you might take three-pointed wheel. Some of you might extend the right leg up as high as you can. Feeling into the inner line, the kidney lines again, the inner line of the legs. And then, indeed, we're coming into pigeon. Right knee down, left leg back. Okay, so this is where we would love to have the bolster. And I would suggest using the bolster, even if you don't usually use a bolster here, Because this way we can play with actually having level hip points without the added, there's this drop in Pigeon. The whole pelvis kind of just drops. So we want to have a sense of being able to lift. And in fact, we want to take the back leg and the front leg and pull in a little bit. So that ends up translating right up the spine. Just give it a moment. So we're going for what we call proud pigeon, which is a really, I think, very funny. We have a different relationship with pigeons here in the United States than they do in India or Nepal. You could take the hands to the rib cage. Good, you can feel your back foot extending way back behind you. And then we will turn toward the left leg a little bit like we did when we were in the low lunge, where the sternum is actually at a diagonal. Just feel what that's like. Now we've got to make a choice, and that is, do we wish to go on? And if we wish to go on, we've got the right sit bone right on top of the bolster. We could bend left knee, reach back and see about grasping the foot. And if we've made that choice, we're going to pull the foot back behind us to open up this area and insert breath here. In some of the Tibetan Buddhist teachings, pride is actually what's in the way of equanimity, which is interesting. And there's a lot of writing about how pride often is a mask for a sense of not being enough. So perhaps we've all felt the tendency to want to brag or inflate. And deep down, generally, let's look and see, well, can we be comfortable in our own skin in such a way that we don't need to push up, because that push up tends to be a sense of small inside. Neither grand nor tiny. Somewhere in the middle we contain multitudes. Now we release. Okay, how are we going to do this gracefully? Take your hands to your bolster. Send the leg back behind you. Walk your hands back. Give yourself a downward dog. Draw sit bones back. Watch the breath. Okay, so now let's take left leg. Actually, we need to come off the bolster for a moment. So hands down, left leg up and back, stacking. And bending the knee, three-pointed. And this could just be an exploration of opening the inner legs. It could also be three-pointed wheel if you wish. Keep your shoulder points in the same plane. And then we bring the knee forward and we land it. And we slide the bolster back in underneath. I'm hoping that you can feel the difference having the bolster in the lift. Sure be nice to be able to see you doing this, wouldn't it? It would be amazing. Okay, so drop the right. Just let the side of the right hip sink. Left foot, I tend to keep it flexed. Reach back. Go for a little pride. You can take hold of the bolster on the back end. Lift the chest up. Feel how the outer edge of the right hip softens out to the side and downward. And working where we need to work. It's one of the beautiful things about not needing to get anywhere is then we can be where we are. Imagine that. Imagine that. All right, bending. Reach back. Maybe reach back. Pull back, open. Right side. This area gets starved from overuse of the computer because of this business, this hunching. So open. We'll say stretch the breath. It's like you've opened the door and then you're allowing the breath to move in. And a couple more breaths. You could really take that foot, pull back. And unwind. Hands down. Take left leg up and back. Nope, we are not yet done with the bolster. Settle in dog first, lengthen the spine, draw your sit bones back. If you've got your bolster right there, it's nice to place the head down, forehead down lightly on the bolster. Lengthen from your fingertips, upside body toward the hips. Broadening your upper back, so your scapula, it's almost like the outside of the scapula curl in toward the sternum if they could. All right, so now let's just make this simple. Draw the right knee forward, come right back into pigeon. And left leg back. Get your sit bone down. Okay, this is the part where we all have got to be tremendously honest. Give up the business of trying to get somewhere and be where we are. And open what needs to open instead of what we think needs to open. Okay, so where we go now is we could take this strap and we could wrap it around the foot. And then what we'll do is we will turn the elbow. You see how the elbow turns up. That action can be very tricky for some of us. Go gently, go lightly, and then reach up and back. And the left foot gets heavy in the strap, so we're opening up, well, a lot of tricep, front ribs, and drop your left femur bone downward. It's tempting to want to take the right arm to the strap. See if you can resist that for the moment. We feel this circle, it's like an inverted snake chasing its own tail. And what's happening here is that the elbow eventually will point directly upward. But go slow. Okay, now let's take right hand to the strap. So same idea, you can start with the cactus arm, then turn the elbow up, reach back. Let's release the left arm and draw the right arm in toward midline. Now you've got this diagonal situation happening where left foot pulls and right elbow, right arm resists. Do the sit bones still feel neutral? Yeah, and if this isn't working at all, and it may not work at all, you could reach back for the foot or go back to the traditional pigeon with the leg long. Now we'll take both arms up and we'll walk up the strap, bringing the elbows in almost like the arms are cradling the head, but not quite that exaggerated. Extending. Now, where we're focused is in the thoracic spine, that space behind the heart. I suggest thinking about someone you love, softening, Opening. Good. If it bothers the neck, chin to the chest. Okay, we release that. Let it go. My goodness. Take the hands to the floor. Right leg back, downward facing dog. Just give it a moment. Recreate your structure. Watch the breath. All right, so left leg comes forward. I hope you can see how much easier. You could try this after this class is done without the bolster. Really helpful to have this lift. Okay, so first, find the chest again. Go proud. Then find your strap. Bend the knee if that works for you. Wrap, strap. Same side first. Walk the right arm in. So you've got the cactus arm. Then turn the elbow forward. Extend through the tricep. Foot pulls back a little bit. Almost feels like right hip comes forward beyond left hip. Just to keep this exaggeration through the front side. Good. No one place is feeling the pressure, so go with equanimity through the body. Can it be that the whole body has relatively same sensation emanating? Sink the right femur bone. Just play with the right arm. Gradually makes its way toward midline. Good. And when we find anywhere where we're impeded, this is when we apply tenderness and loving kindness. Loving kindness. Let's switch the arms. Left arm up, elbow in close. Pull back. Sternum lifted. Legs pull in toward each other. And then maybe both hands. And feel how your scapula, they can support the heart. Okay. And let's release. Was that big? I think that was big. It was big for an hour class. Pull out. Move bolster out of way. And then let's just lie back for a moment, taking happy baby. With both legs up, grasping the outside of the feet, the spine sink. And notice the breath now. Yeah. Does the breath feel wide? Does it feel slightly less impeded? The soles of the feet come together, interlace your fingers around your feet, and draw the feet toward the sternum any amount. Butterfly the legs out. Use your elbows if you wish, pushing slightly. And then release the feet to the floor. So we'll lift the hips up. I want to take fish early this morning. We'll slide the arms in underneath. You could hook the thumbs and then place the hips back down over your arms. And you know probably if it bothers the elbows, take the arms out to the side. Then place the legs long and make your legs really heavy. Point your toes. Push into the forearms.
And grow your spine. Move your sternum away from your pubic bone toward your chin. Head rests lightly on the floor for this variation. Now feel the scapula. Feel the back of the heart. How it can support the heart. Sit bones press into hands. Collarbone area opens. Throat soft. And then gradually releasing. All right. Now let's take the arms into cactus. And we'll cross right ankle over the front of the left thigh. And go ahead, send the legs out to the right. Just let them land. The inner left foot will press. And you can grow this space now along the left side. Extend through the left knee. And then gradually make your way back up. And let's switch sides. Left ankle crosses. The right shoulder blade stays on the floor. Inner right foot presses. Grow the whole right side. How long can you make the right femur bone? Imagine it could grow. Yeah, okay, then we slowly come back up. We'll make a choice this morning about bridge or wheel. It's always nice to do on a Saturday. Saturday morning especially, just opening the body first thing so that we can stay open through the day. Now, heels press, coccyx moves toward pubic bone, then inhale, come up. Maybe slide the arms in close. Extend through your kneecaps as your sternum moves toward chin. Root into your feet. You could interlace your fingers behind your back. And some of you, pressing the arms into the ground, could move right foot to midline. See if you can take your left ankle cross over right thigh, opening out. This is an interesting puzzle here because we want to keep the left side lifted in the process. And then the left foot might land and we cross, come to the other side, lifting up, opening. And then back down again, and then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, come up onto the balls of your feet, lower down. Soles of the feet together, knees go wide, arms beside us. Let the breath wash over the body. We've been talking a lot this week about the importance of the pause. Feeling into the pause is a way of training ourselves to observe and feel and embody the sensations that arise in the moment, which is another way of learning over time how to pause and feel a thought wash over us without necessarily being gripped by that thought. This allows for discernment, a little bit of choice about what we believe. The hands are on the outside of the thighs, and then we come back for the bridge of our choice, or wheel if we wish. Rising up. Hands come under shoulders. Elbow points directly up if possible, please. Then, lightly onto the top of the head, look at your forearms. They're parallel. And up we go. Opening the entire back body, which we've been working on now, so this might feel slightly different. Draw your blades in toward the heart and down toward your hips. Press into your feet. Different variations here. If you're in bridge, you could extend the legs long. Wheel, you can try that. You could also
also take the figure 4 again, crossing left foot over right thigh. And switching. And wherever we are then landing, come up onto the balls of the feet. And feel into the wheel or the bridge. See that shape. And then slowly, slowly landing. Let's feel one vertebrae at a time on the way down. Good, for real. Each one. You gotta work hard there in the lumbar spine. Soles of the feet come together, knees go wide, and then settle into the pause. And notice what's here. Noticing the difference between direct experience and conceptual experience. Yeah. Get out of our heads so we can live. Okay, so one more. Let's cross right foot over left thigh. Interlace the fingers. Take the legs to the right like we did, but we're going to drag our body now over to the left. So the left elbow, it's almost like it attempts to meet the left heel. And then we return. Right foot down, left foot crosses, over we go. And right elbow makes its way toward right heel, any amount. It's a little more difficult on a mat because it's sticky. Good, okay, let's unwind. And settle in, coming into the final resting pose, Savasana. Arms beside us. Make yourself comfortable here, lying back. Tracing a path from your feet. Just let the feet get heavy. The legs get heavy. Feel the weight of the pelvis. All the bones, all the way up. Remembering strong back, soft front. Feeling the innate softness in our nature. This morning's poem. I've been watching stars rely on the darkness they resist, and fish struggle with and against the current, and hawks glide faster when their wings don't move. Still, I keep retelling what happens till it comes out the way I want. We try so hard to be the main character when it is our point of view that keeps us from the truth. The sun
has its story that no curtain can stop. It's true. The only way beyond the self is through it. The only way to listen to what can never be said is to quiet our need to steer the plot. When jarred by life, we might unravel the story we tell ourselves and discover the story we are in, the one that keeps telling us. Enjoying these moments in the pause, directly feeling, directly experiencing. We might dedicate this day to noticing how many moments where we can really be there for, and then checking in at the end of the day. We can just drop the business and hang in the moment. Now you can lie there. It's a good way to spend the Saturday morning, or you can gradually make your way up, drawing the knees into the chest, giving ourselves a hug. Rolling to one side. Seeing the world as a healthy world, yes? Dedicating ourselves to being of use to a healthy world. We make our way up to a seat. It's a long spine. And we feel anchored and rooted and somehow light also. And we check in and feel the breath here. Notice that we are being breathed. Nothing to fix or change. The good news is that equanimity isn't something we have to chase after. It's already right here. And we draw the palms together at the heart. Let's close with one Om. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady and present and joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. Our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning. And I wish you an amazing day, an amazing weekend. And I'm gonna go be quiet for a couple of days. So if you want to get a hold of me, normally I'm too responsive probably for my own good, but I'm gonna be quiet, and I'll see you Tuesday. All right.